Welcome back to Hiking with Kathleen. So today I have you here at some private property. I love being on private property. We're going to have a chance to look at some interesting behavior, namely some bird behavior, bird nesting behavior. I hope you stick around because I've got some really cool footage to show you of a mourning dove as she is incubating her eggs and waiting for them to hatch. But also have captured some other creatures that live in the vicinity where I come from, which is Southwestern Ontario. We just finished our 1 month long trip out to the East Coast, but I tell you, it's good to be home because there's lots and lots of wonderful wildlife right here in Southwestern Ontario. Join me today. We were delighted to find a mourning dove nest right outside the window when we got home from Newfoundland after being away from home for about a month. Occasionally we look up in the tree and we can see that the mate is not too far away, keeping an eye on things, making sure that the one that's sitting there on the nest for their shift is safe. The interesting thing that I wasn't aware of is that they do actually trade off incubation duties. So this is a shift change. That's what we're looking at. They are getting quite used to us, so they see us watching through the window, and of course I have the camera pointed outside, and they just seem to take it in stride, which is a really great thing for us. That way we can bring you this really interesting footage up close. Yep, this one's just settling in for the next several hour shift. May as well get comfortable. Now, the first thing we noticed is that the squirrels were actually eyeing the nest. So what you saw up there was, it's really just a crazy carpet. And the crazy carpet is about 17 inches wide. I happened to capture this squirrel actually jumping the length of the 17-inch width and reaching the branch that the nest was on. Yeah, so I had to take care of that one right away. This is the tree that's out front. Squirrels go from one tree to the other through the branches. That is a sheet of aluminum, and that's a 24-inch width. So each morning they try it out. So the tree you can see is situated nice and close to the house. We replaced that crazy carpet with another sheet of aluminum, and now it seems like we have kept the squirrels at bay. Okay, it becomes clear to me that it's not just squirrels that the birds have to look out for. House sparrows can also be pretty persistent and aggressive in trying to drive away the mourning dove or any other bird really for that matter if they're in the territory of the house sparrow. They are attempting to, I guess, free up food supply for themselves, so they will kill the nestlings or eggs, and so this one stands its ground. When a mourning dove takes its shift, it just sort of moves sticks around, probably things that are annoying it, poking into it. And so that's what it does to create the setting that makes it comfortable for the next several hours. Now, this is a very unusual view that you're getting right now of this mourning dove. Interestingly enough, they have, because they're birds, one opening that is called a cloaca. It's hidden beneath the feathers. She or he is showing us the direction where you'd have to pry in order to get a close look at the cloaca. The cloaca is the one canal through which excretion is released, and that's where the female releases her eggs too. So it's one opening. Mammals are the only ones that have two openings, actually. Fish, insects, amphibians, reptiles, they all have cloacas. This gives us a really great view of her feathers, though. And they are out there no matter what the weather is in order to continue to incubate the eggs. In fact, mourning doves make a very good team. When you're looking at a pair, they tag teams so there's no time when the eggs or the fledglings are left unattended. And I happen to notice also out on the front lawn, this is a juvenile starling. So it's making its way around, collecting insects on its own. It no longer needs its parents at this point. So this is the outer shell of a cicada when it is exiting the larval stage of its life. So the buzzing you hear in the background of some of the videos, those are adult cicadas that have big wings. They look like huge flies. This is what they emerge from when they're ready to take on the adult life. It was cool. It was just the exoskeleton, and it was found on that bench. So I'm going to return it to that bench. So I'm just taking a quick walk around this area, on this morning. And actually, I stopped in this area because I saw a couple of wild turkeys. Now, I didn't get to capture any footage of them, but then I ended up capturing footage of a doe and her fawn. So fawns were typically born in the month of May. And so anyway, this one's a couple of months along in terms of its development. So I hope you continue to join me on this hike, as I am refreshingly surprised by the ease with which I can find wildlife sightings to show you. You know, going away is something I really love to do. Going away on holidays, going away in our travel trailer so that we can explore new and different natural areas. But I tell you, it's also a great feeling to come home. And what I mean by that is being able to see the favorite nooks where you know you can count on silence, you can count on hearing wildlife sounds, and where sightings tend to be more easily found. That's one thing I must say when I go away. Sometimes, you know, you go with the expectation you might see some really exotic, to what I'm used to, animal sightings, and it doesn't always materialize. So it just goes to show, in Southwestern Ontario, yeah, we have a lot of people, but we have an awful lot of wildlife and a great diversity of wildlife. So I'm just enjoying that in a place where I can typically find some peace and solitude early in the morning. I'm glad you're here with me. So as I continue my travels in Southwestern Ontario, out here about 6:30 in the morning, 2nd day of August. So this video has spanned about 1 week's worth of video work. And it just shows, oh my God, there's so many things all within one stop that I made, where we got to see some ducks. The thing that was fascinating for me to see was that green heron. Don't get to see that very often, so we watched it while it was fishing. Saw a muskrat as it was making its way right past. So by standing still, animals forget that you're there, or they no longer feel threatened that you're there. And that's the really cool thing, because then they start exhibiting their natural behavior as opposed to stressed behavior. So on this walk today, I'll have a chance to share with you what was unfortunate about what we witnessed with regards to those mourning doves that are nesting right outside our house. During the time that we were just doing our own thing in the morning yesterday, Shannon looked outside and noticed there were 3 crows around the nest right outside the window. So I had to look out. I saw, at least 1 crow within my view, ran outside on the front deck and scared them away. The doves were gone, and I went back in the house to see if I could see any sort of contents, because we didn't think the eggs had hatched yet, and that would be what the crows would be after, because they would eat happily young birds, right? That's a shot of protein for them. And crows are pretty much omnivorous. They'll eat whatever they can get, including roadkill. So I couldn't see what the contents of the nest were, and it did look a little bit disheveled. It wasn't long after Shannon noticed one of the parents returned to the nest and apparently continued to incubate. So the parents were continuing with their shift exchange, and so I'm guessing there must have been eggs in the nest, and crows may not have had a chance to break the eggs. If they were young, they would have tried to scavenge them quickly. So I'm kind of surprised that the parents weren't just scared away, because now the crows know where the nest is, and we can't protect them against that. Just ground-dwelling predators like the squirrels and raccoons, whatever, can't get past that sheet of aluminum we've placed on the tree. So anyway, it's a bit heartbreaking, because you don't want to see what you've become invested in, which would be the young mourning doves that will result from those eggs, and you don't want to see them, predated. We know it's a cycle of life. It's what happens. It's how we eat as well. We eat other animals, for those of us that are omnivores and eat meat. So anyway, that's what's going on. I'm hoping that I'll have some footage maybe to show you that the young were able to grow and fledge. If that is to happen, you'll see that in some future video. So for now, enjoy the sights and the sounds of this last morning hike to conclude today's video. Thanks a lot for joining me today. Yeah, so there's nothing in the nest. That means the eggs probably hatched. So this morning when I got home from my hike, I had eye contact with the dove. It was sitting on the nest, and then I was preparing some videos. I was uploading them to my computer. And I came back out where I keep the camera in the living room. And I noticed the dove wasn't on the nest. So I cracked open the window, came out the front, didn't see any sort of signs of a battle on the ground. But there were two crows that flew out of the front tree, not this tree. So that means the babies probably hatched sometime between yesterday and today. So anyway, that's the reality. That's the way life goes, unfortunately. It's just, it's sad when I didn't actually witness it, but I kind of felt party to the investment the parents were making. So anyway, it's too bad for them. Anyway, but crows have to eat too.